On Friday, even before Donald Trump had learned of the passing of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, he was giving a speech in Minnesota where he talked about the kind of person that he would like to put on the Supreme Court. And as we all know from the recent list he put out, people like Ted Cruz were on the list. And as Trump explained to the audience, he actually had a fairly smart reason for putting Ted Cruz on the short list for people to nominate for a Supreme Court vacancy. And I will let him tell it in his own jumbled, garbled, incoherent words. Here it is.
And I think Ted's appreciated it. But here, I even said, I'm putting Ted Cruz as one of the people for the Supreme Court, right? And you know why I did it? You know why I did it? Because I wanted to make sure that I had somebody on the list. We have about 45 unbelievable people. Unbelievable, the smartest, the best, the absolute creme de la creme, right? The best minds in the country, conservative. They believe in the Constitution, okay? You know, little things like that. But I said, I have to have somebody that we're going to make sure we get approved. And the only one I could think of is Ted, because he's going to get 50 Republican votes and he's going to get 50 Democrat votes. He'll do anything to get him out of the Senate. But I joke when I say that to Ted. But I say it all the time. Ted's the only man I know can get 100 votes from the Senate.
So, okay, all of the gobbledygook aside, all of the, they could be the most conservative. They could be one of, respect the Constitution. His tone changed. His voice itself changed multiple times during that. Like he was in various stages of puberty throughout his little speech there. But the Ted Cruz thing, that's not an idiotic idea. To be perfectly honest, I know I've given him a hard time throughout his entire presidency of never doing anything, political, really. It's all been business, but that's actually a fairly smart thing to do. Democrats hate Ted Cruz. They want him out of the Senate. They got 4 years before they ever even have a chance to do that again. So what if a seat that almost went to a Democrat suddenly opens up again? Well, suddenly you're looking at a different situation. Suddenly Democrats think, okay, you know what? We hate working with Ted Cruz. We get him out of here. We don't have to do that anymore. Yeah, we lose the Supreme Court seat, but we gain a Senate seat. Maybe it's worth. Maybe it's doable. And of course, the Republicans in the Senate, as Trump pointed out, would absolutely 100% vote to put Ted Cruz up there. He's a conservative. They know they'll control him. They know how he'll vote. They're good with it. Plus, Trump didn't mention this. Republicans hate Ted Cruz too. Ted Cruz was a lawyer for the George W. Bush campaign during the whole Bush v. Gore thing. Emails were later revealed, or leaked, I guess would be the proper word. Emails were leaked showing that the reason Ted Cruz didn't end up with a job in the Bush administration, even though he was qualified for it, qualified in quotation marks, was because they all hated him so much. Nobody could stand to work with him. He was obnoxious. He was annoying. He was shrill. They just, God, no thank you, Ted. So Republicans hate him too. Democrats hate him. It's like one of the few bipartisan agreements in the United States today is everybody hates Ted Cruz. So to get him out of the Senate, to put him in an area where you don't ever have to actually work with him again, politically speaking, that is smart. Now, in terms of judicially speaking, that's absolutely terrifying. Ted Cruz is not the kind of person we want on the Supreme Court. Neither is District Judge Amy Coney Barrett, who Donald Trump is most likely going to nominate for this seat. All of his picks have been god-awful because that's what conservatives produce in the judiciary, god-awful judges. But, as I've said before, shaming McConnell isn't going to work. Democrats have forfeited any kind of procedural hurdles to throw up to prevent Trump from doing anything. That seat is going to go to a conservative. It's going to go to a horrible conservative. And Democrats, once they regain power, have to figure out a way to negate that. But for the time being, we can all rest easy because it's pretty unlikely that Ted Cruz is going to be going to the Supreme Court.